Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the 1998D penny, and we're going to be going over how some of these are going to be worth a lot more than the rest. That could be because of some really nice condition, but we're really going to be focusing in on the varieties, which is where you can look really closely to see if your coin has a rare attribute that, collectors are paying up for. There's also some potential with mint errors, so we'll cover that, but we'll get right into the PowerPoint presentation. So let's get into the 1998D penny. We're not going to stop too long on the overview outside of that this is a zinc cent because it was produced after 1982, so it should weigh 2.5 grams. Lincoln's design has been the same since 1909. He was the first person to be featured on a circulating U.S. coin. You can pause for some of the key varieties that aren't on this coin. We'll be talking about the ones that are. There were over 5 billion produced, so there's not going to be really much rarity or value until you get to really, really gorgeously well-produced examples. Really in the mint state 68 range is where it's going to be worth certifying, potentially 67 plus. But at that point, you can get about $100 for a coin. Mint State 68 Plus is $350, jumps to $3,000 for Mint State 69. But you're looking at a virtually flawless coin with no problems whatsoever, booming luster, and maybe a tiny nick if you're zooming in a ton. But really, really great coins. Don't just submit your average 1998D in pocket change if there's not one of these double dies on it. Now, this has been called into question as possibly being a master double die, so that would not be nearly or anywhere as rare, but there's some doubling in some of the top parts of the columns on the left side. To be worth $1 to $4 is not bad because it's a minor variety, and otherwise, average Mint State 65 red is worth a cent. Here's another example of a pretty prominent second column that seems to have been, a doubled column right on the right of Lincoln. And that one might be worth slightly more, though probably not going to be too crazy. These values might even be a little bit overstated, but if it's clear, it is interesting. I think that these are some of the more interesting varieties, and certainly collectors pay more for them, but it's extra columns that can be clearly seen throughout the sort of the bays or the recesses between the main columns. Here it's on both sides, full sort of doubling in the left and right hands, and that could be worth $5 to $10 if it's not a really nice coin. $25 for Mint State 65 red. So these are attractive coins. Any of these large doubling, same thing here. It's like a slightly different pattern, but all throughout you can see 3 on the left and then 2 pretty prominently, or actually 3 on the right. And yeah, these are nice finds to make. Certainly should be looking out for them if you ever come across a 1998D. And then there's this one, which is just one of these tiny little doublings again. But I think it's important to show the differences, and it sort of makes sense. It's intuitive why, something like this is more expensive, where there's just clear second columns in all the bays. There's also some mint errors I want to go over. So this one was struck 20% off center. Simply the planchet didn't go fully between the striking presses and was struck off center. This one sold for $75. This one sold for almost $2,000, and it sort of reflects the rare error market having been strong, because I've seen coins like this that sold 10 years ago for like 20% of this price, but it's a double denomination where the dime was struck over a fully struck, or the penny was struck over a fully struck Roosevelt dime. This one, 1998D, it's going to struggle to imprint quite as well because it's not the proper pressure necessarily for striking the coin. It's a different planchet, but anyways, you can clearly see both of the dates, and 1998 D, nice way to identify and link it to this date. It's in great condition. They're pretty similar to the cent size, so able to sneak out, and somebody plucked it up immediately upon finding it. And then this one was a flip over double struck coin. These are a little tougher to discern, but somebody noticed it. Basically, the coin was struck, and then instead of being ejected from the planchet, flipped over and was struck again. You can see the memorial on the front and the 1998 and the Lincoln portrait on the back. I think for $140, this is a pretty good purchase because, it's just a really cool looking coin that it was double struck so cleanly. It wasn't off center. So a really nice not variety, it's an error, but 3 cool errors to round out the discussion. The big ones to look for, though, are these really two varieties that have the doubled columns. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like the video, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other social media platforms. You can also go to my main channel website, treasuretownYT.com, to learn more about the channel and sort of stay in contact. I also will eventually host all of these videos on coinsmetalscards.com, which will be both news, marketplace, and coin information. I do have the goal of eventually getting pretty much every US coin, date, mint mark, denomination on the channel with a similar video to the one that you just watched, and that will likely all be hosted there. And then I also have treasuretowncoins.com, which is sort of my coin dealing wing, coin dealing only entity that is a little bit less focused on content production. So thank you so much, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos. I also have videos that are not just the date, mint mark, denomination recap in this format, so you can check some of those out, and I'll have fun seeing you there.